Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Bubblegum Reviews. My name is Steve, and before we get into the review, what's up next, I have my movie giveaway, and it's right here. We got the Sahara movie. That is my free movie giveaway. If you can answer what this movie quote comes from. Can you fly, you sucker? Can you fly, you sucker? If you can tell me what that's from, this is yours free of charge. So let's go ahead and get right into the movie now. I actually, unfortunately, do not have a case for this movie. It is Hellboy, the Ron Perlman one, the first one. This is probably a third time watch for me. In this, as I said, Ron Perlman, Selma Blair, Doug Jones, is it Joe Manning or John, the father from Hangover movies, and somebody who, no, you know what? I'll save that little tidbit for the end. Yes. Anyways, a little quick summary into this. So the Nazis are trying to find a super weapon, and they end up unlocking something that lets Hellboy out, and he gets captured by the Allies. And then 40 years later, him and a group of other people are heading up the department of not extra keeping aliens out of the world or from taking over said world. First thing about this I want to point out before we get into the facts is this is my introduction into this. I've never read any of the comics or anything like that, so this was literally me being introduced to Hellboy. I'll say it was definitely an introduction worthy. So the first things first about this, Ron Perlman was definitely the best Hellboy. He was definitely the perfect choice to be Hellboy, for sure. The supporting cast he had definitely worked out really well. I did like Doug Jones. I also liked something Manning. I'm not exactly sure if it's John or Joe or what, but I'm sure you'll know who I'm talking about. The score for this, nah, it wasn't anything special for me. I was just kind of like, yeah, this is okay. Not great. The bad, I don't even know what to call them. To me, they kind of look like dogs or something, like just evil ass dogs. But those things are really cool. I'm gonna go at this a certain way. So Abe Sapien, please tell me that Abe Sapien does not sound exactly like Niles Crane. Abe Sapien is done by Doug Jones. But tell me he does not sound like Niles Crane. Because I think he does. Anyways, the supporting cast, like I said, was good. Overall, this was a bit lengthy. It was about 2 hours overall. But it was definitely an interesting story. My favorite freaking part in this was Hellboy eavesdropping on Liz and Meyer's date. That was hilarious. Oh my god, that was so good. I did like the fighting scenes. I freaking love Hellboy's like costume that he's wearing. That thing was super cool. Super cool. Like, I also heard that there was like a instance where he wore it for a kid who was on the Make-A-Wish thing, and it took him like 6 hours to get into that costume, but he did it and everything. That's pretty cool. Director in this, we have Guillermo del Toro. I'm sure you might be familiar with him. The ones I'm familiar with of his are The Shape of Water, Blade 2, and Pacific Rim. I totally forgot this dude did Blade 2, and I like the Blade movies. I might throw a Blade on my Halloween list. We'll see. IMDb gave this a 6.8 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 82%. Dog Bones gave it a 2.5 out of 4. Bubblegum Reviews gave it a 7 out of 10. Reasons I'd tell you to watch this is this movie's definitely worthy. It is. It's If you haven't seen it, you at least need to watch this once. That's how I feel about it. Like, after watching the first one, I'm like jonesing to watch, what is it, The Golden Army, because that wasn't a half bad movie either. So I might get to that this year for Halloween. I'm not making any promises. Let's just say if I own it and I find out I own it, you might be seeing me watch it here in the next week or so. Box office of 99.8 mil on a budget of 60, so it made 39.8, which, man, that seems kind of low for this. This was 2004. I was at least hoping for 200 mil off of this, but anyways, so as I was saying about Abe Sapien sounding a lot like Niles Crane, let's get into my interesting fact. I literally was saying this about the movie, and then I looked up the interesting things about it and found this. Abe Sapien's voice was actually dubbed by none other than David Hyde Pierce, who is Niles Crane. He did not want to take any of the credit away from Doug Jones, so that's why he did not have himself credited on there. Doug Jones created Abe Sapien, so that's why David Hyde Pierce didn't want to take any credit away from him. Dude, I'm not trying to get off on this movie, but I freaking think David Hyde Pierce is such a cool person. I've never met him personally, but just things like reading about he did this and stuff, and it's like, man, that's awesome. Also, quick, if you have not seen Frasier, I recommend watching it. Kelsey Grammer is not the only reason Frasier is good. John Mahoney and David Hyde Pierce also are, and Foxy Roz. But that's beside the point. Up next, I got some options. I have been requested to watch Scent of a Man by my boss, and he said that's a Thanksgiving movie, so it sounds like I'm going to have to find that movie by Thanksgiving so I can watch it, because I've never seen it, and I've heard hoo-ha, all that, and all sorts of other stuff about it, so I'm gonna try to get it so I can watch it. But my next two choices will either be, I've seen both of these, but I feel like they're kind of fitting for this. We have A Quiet Place, and we also have The Burbs. I'm not sure, but it's literally going to be, I'm not going to tell you, let's just put it that way. One of them will be up next. I don't know which one. I have here till tonight or tomorrow to figure it out, and I will. So that's it for tonight. You guys have a good night. Like and subscribe. Check out my letterbox. Thank you to all my new fans, and you guys have a good one.